Namaste, friends. Sri Sai Satcharitra begins with a humble prayer. Hemad Pant first bows to Lord Ganesha, Goddess Saraswati, his Guru, and finally to Sri Sai Baba. He explains that no sacred work can begin successfully without seeking the blessings of God and the Guru. He then introduces Sai Baba not merely as a saint living in Shirdi, but as the supreme Guru who had come to uplift humanity. Though Baba lived in a simple mosque called Dwaraka Mai, people from every religion and background came to him. To some, he appeared as a Hindu saint, to others, as a Muslim fakir. Baba never encouraged divisions. Instead, he taught that God is one and that love, faith, and compassion are the true paths to Him. Hemad Pant tells readers that merely listening to Baba's life stories with devotion can purify the mind, remove fear, and strengthen faith. He emphasizes that Sai Baba's miracles were never performed to impress people. Every miracle carried a deeper spiritual lesson. One morning, the people of Shirdi witnessed an unusual scene. Sai Baba brought out a hand operated grinding stone and poured wheat into it. Without saying a word, he began grinding the wheat himself. The villagers were surprised. Baba owned almost nothing and lived on alms. Why would he need so much flour? Soon, four village women came forward. Thinking they were helping Baba, they took over the grinding. They believed Baba would divide the flour among them. But when the grinding was finished and the women tried to take the flour home, Baba firmly stopped them. He said, "This flour does not belong to you. Take it to the borders of the village and scatter it there." Though puzzled, they obeyed his command. Only later did they understand the reason. At that time, a deadly cholera epidemic was spreading through nearby villages. Baba had symbolically ground down the disease itself. By asking the floor to be scattered around Shirdi's boundaries, he was creating a spiritual shield to protect the entire village. Soon the epidemic subsided and Shirdi remained safe. The villagers realized that Baba had not been grinding wheat at all. He had been grinding away suffering and protecting his devotees through his divine power. After witnessing Sai Baba's divine presence and the miracle of the grinding wheat, Govind Raghunath Dabolkar, later known as Hemad Pant, felt a deep desire to write Baba's life story. He believed that Baba's teachings and miracles should be preserved so that the future generations could benefit from them. However, Hemad Pant also understood that writing about a true guru was not an ordinary task. Such a sacred work could never begin without the guru's permission. He therefore decided that he would not write a single word unless Sai Baba himself approved it. Around this time, Hemad Pant had a discussion with Bala Saheb Bhate about whether a guru was truly necessary for spiritual progress. Hemad Pant initially believed that sincere effort alone could lead one to God. Bhate respectfully argued that although personal effort is important, the grace and guidance of a true guru are indispensable. Their discussion remained unresolved. When Hemad Pant later went to Dwarkamai to have Sai Baba's darshan, something extraordinary happened. Without anyone mentioning the earlier debate, Sai Baba looked at those present and referred to the very discussion that had taken place elsewhere. He even addressed Dabolkar as Hemad Pant, a name inspired by the learned minister Hemadri Pandit of the Yadava kingdom. Although the title reminded Dabolkar of his own shortcomings, he accepted it as Baba's loving blessing and a reminder to remain humble. This incident revealed that Baba knew every conversation, every thought, and every event, even when he was not physically present. Hemad Pant realized that nothing was hidden from the Guru. Still, he did not directly ask Baba for permission to write his life. Instead, he requested Madhavrao Deshpande, affectionately called Shama, to convey his wish. Shama spoke to Baba on Hemad Pant's behalf. Hearing the request, Sai Baba graciously said that Hemad Pant should collect his stories and experiences. Baba assured everyone that he himself would help in writing the book. Baba declared that the work would not be the achievement of Hemad Pant's intellect. Instead, he said he would write the book through him, provided Hemad Pant surrendered his ego completely. Baba explained that anyone who listened to these stories with faith and devotion would develop love for God, find peace of mind, and overcome worldly suffering. Sai Baba also emphasized that his stories were not merely accounts of miracles, they were spiritual medicine capable of removing ignorance and awakening devotion in the hearts of sincere seekers. Filled with gratitude, Hemad Pant bowed at Baba's feet. He no longer saw himself as the author but as a humble instrument chosen by the Guru. With Baba's blessings, the sacred work of the Sri Sai Satcharitra began. Sai Baba lovingly accepted Hemad Pant's desire to write his life story. Baba makes it clear that this is not an ordinary book. It is a sacred work that will inspire faith and guide countless devotees for generations. Sai Baba tells Hemad Pant to collect his stories, teachings, and the experiences of devotees. He assures him that if he sets aside his ego and writes with sincerity, Baba himself will guide every step. Hemad Pant is only an instrument. The real author is Sai Baba. Baba then explains the greatness of hearing and remembering his divine life. He says that those who listen to his stories with faith will develop devotion, gain inner peace, and gradually overcome ignorance. Their minds will become calm and they will move closer to God. Baba promises that he will always protect those who remember him with love. Hemad Pant realizes that these words are not only meant for him but for every devotee who will one day read the Sai Satcharitra. He understands that Baba's life is a living scripture capable of transforming hearts. Rohilla, a tall and physically strong Muslim devotee, stayed in Shirdi. Day and night, Rohilla loudly recited verses from the Holy Quran with great devotion. His voice echoed through the village, often disturbing the sleep of the residents. Some villagers became frustrated and approached Sai Baba. They requested him to ask Rohilla to stop shouting so loudly. To everyone's surprise, Baba refused. Instead, Baba defended the devotee. He explained that Rohilla's prayers came from a heart filled with sincere love for God. Baba even used a symbolic explanation saying that the Rohilla's constant remembrance of God kept his troublesome wife away. The wife was not a real person but represented the restless mind, worldly desires, and negative tendencies that distract a seeker from spiritual life. Through this simple example, Baba taught that genuine devotion is more important than outward appearances. When the mind is absorbed in God's name, worldly distractions lose their power. The villagers understood Baba's message and stopped complaining. They realized that true prayer should never be judged by its volume, language, or external form. What matters is the sincerity of the devotee's heart. By the end of the chapter, Hemad Pant is convinced that every action and every word of Sai Baba carries a profound spiritual lesson. Baba was not merely solving daily problems, he was quietly transforming people's life and leading them towards God.